everyone, welcome to Math 97 for this summer. My name is Cora Marty Farmer. I'm your instructor. You're welcome to call me Cora. I'm totally fine with first names. I thought I'd lead you through some information about my math lab and show you some of the details about my specific My Math Lab course. So I'm going to head over there right now. All right, so once you've created a My Math Lab account, and I have a sheet on Blackboard about how to do that, you would go to mymathlab.com to get yourself into the course. When you register for the first time, you'll be going to register now as a student, but once you're in, you'll just go to the normal sign in button. You'll enter in your username and your password. Now from here, your screen will look a little bit different than mine since I'm an instructor. I have a bunch of courses. You'll just have this one if this is the first time you're using My Math Lab, or you might have some previous ones from other semesters. Our course is entitled 97-002 Summer 2020. So you'll click on that course. And once we're into our actual course, the first thing that will always come up is the lesson schedule. And it's over here under the lesson plan tab. And it's a good idea to take a look at this once or twice a week so you have an idea of what's going on, and look ahead so you can kind of see where all the tests are. You'll see that this first week here is kind of a purpley color. I'll change that every week. I'll make it, I won't change the color, but I'll change the row that's highlighted every week in a color so that your eye is drawn directly to the week we're supposed to be at. So you'll see it this week. We have stuff that's due on Wednesday and Sunday. So those are going to be our two due dates every week, Wednesday and Sunday by 11:59 p.m. That being said, there aren't any actual late penalties on the assignments. So if you're running a little bit behind, it's not a big deal. But just make sure you don't get too far behind because we only have 8 weeks. So it's really hard to get caught up in such a little amount of time if you do get far behind. So if you feel like that's happening to you, contact me and I'll help you kind of get back on track. In terms of the schedule, you'll see there that I've broken down to what's graded, and that you should definitely do. It counts towards your grade. If you don't do it, you get a 0. And then things that are optional but recommended. So things like these worksheets that'll give you more practice. Now, even though the worksheets are optional, aside from the worksheets, most of the other work is on My Math Lab. And while that's a great system, because your test is going to include a My Math Lab part and a paper pencil part that you have to email to me for me to hand grade, I do recommend that you spend at least a little bit of time looking at the worksheets and trying a couple problems just to make sure you feel comfortable doing them paper pencil like on the worksheets. I'll pull up a worksheet just so you can see what it looks like. All worksheets have answers included. Usually the second page or the bottom of the first page. You can do them on notebook paper, you can print them out. Again, they're optional. You don't ever have to turn them in to me, but I'm very happy to answer questions over them. All right, back to the lesson plan tab. All right, you'll see here that your first quiz is due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And then you'll see that your first test over here is in week 2. So not that long from now. And then there's test info up there as well. So you'll know what to expect on the test, how many questions, how long you'll get, all those kinds of things. So you definitely want to use this lesson plan as a guide. Make sure you're looking at it pretty frequently. The next tab over here under lesson plans is the assignment tab. That is where all of the homework, quizzes, tests, anything that's graded is up and under this assignments tab. And I'm going to come back to it in a few minutes because there's a lot to say under there. The third tab is called My Grades. That's where you'll go to figure out what your grade is. You can see your grade at any point. It gets updated in real time, except for the paper pencil part of the test. It'll take me a couple days to get those graded. But once I do, I will put the grades into My Math Lab for you. You'll see here that it shows your overall grade. You can also click on the show calculation, so it'll break it down so you can see, well, what's my homework percentage, what's my quiz percentage, etc. You can also here look at individual assignments. So it automatically defaults it to only looking at the past 2 weeks. If you want to look at things you've done before then, you'll need to hit this drop-down menu to show entire course to date. So then you can see everything that you've done this semester, so you can take a look at individual quizzes and tests. If you hit review, it'll take you through the problems. It'll show you what you got wrong, what the answer should have been, and then it'll give you kind of a help feature to kind of try to see what actually you did that was wrong. Under My Grades, there's the Zoom link for virtual office hours. So I will have office hours every week from Monday mornings, 11 to 11:50, and then Thursday evenings, 8 to 8:50. Now I know that not everybody is free during those times, so if you would like to get help outside of that time, you are welcome to contact me and we can set up some one-on-one Zoom chats. I'm mostly going to be doing the virtual office hours through Zoom, but also I'm available by email. So if you want to talk to me during the virtual office hours, you can email me and I'll respond pretty much instantaneously. During these 2 times on Mondays and Thursdays, I will be glued to my computer. Or if you just want to go straight into the Zoom, you can hit the Zoom link and it will take you right into the waiting room for my Zoom. I'll see that you're there. I'll click to let you in, and then you can ask me your question. If you know that you're going to have a lot of questions, it would be helpful if you would email them to me ahead of time so I can kind of have some work and preparation up for them. All right, now, if you have questions and it's not my office hours, feel free to send them over by email. I do usually check 3, 4, 5 times a day, but I can't guarantee that I'll get to them immediately if it's not during that Monday and Thursday time slot. I do generally get to everything within 24 hours, usually sooner, but just keep that in mind, it might take a little bit longer. Under the Zoom link is a link for the syllabus. That's also up on Blackboard in addition to being emailed to you, but if you have any questions about any policies throughout the semester, you can go ahead and click here on the syllabus to see details. There's also a link for the online textbook. So if you want to pull up any sections and read them in detail, you can do that. Back to main menu. There's also a tab for accessible resources. So if you would like video transcripts, you can click there. If you need an accessible e-text where the font is bigger, you can click there. If you need any help with any of that, let me know. All right, back to assignments. That's where the big stuff is. So as I said, all of your homeworks, lessons, quizzes, tests, they'll all be on my math lab in this assignment tab. So let's kind of break this down. We'll see up there that we have lesson. And in the lessons, we actually have, that's where you're going to be kind of learning the material. And you'll click on question 1. I'm sorry, lost my train of thought there. All right. So question 1 of lessons is always going to be the question where you get the actual material content. So you'll see here that it tells you to either read the textbook or watch the lesson video and take notes as you do one of those things. Now it's really important that you take notes. You're going to be able to use your notes on quizzes, tests, on the final exam. So you want to have them pretty organized because those assignments will be timed. So you want to be able to find the information that you need pretty quickly. So you'll want a notebook, a binder, paper, however you want to keep your notes, but keep them all in one place and be pretty detailed about them. Now, whether you read the textbook or you watch the video, totally up to you. Kind of depends upon your favorite way of learning. If you are having trouble understanding the main ideas, maybe try doing the other one. Doing both is, I think, a really great idea, but it's up to you and how much time you have, whether you want to do both. I also have you rate how well you understand the material. So kind of think through that. And if you're rating that pretty low, if you don't feel like you understand it really well, feel free to contact me before you move on to the homework. And we can talk through some of the things that you're having difficulty with. Now, after you go through and you read the textbook and you watch the video and/or watch the video and take your notes, then you'll move on and there are other questions in the lesson. So you can move on by typing in your response. You can hit check answer. And then it automatically takes you to the next question. You can also do this drop-down box and kind of jump around to questions if you'd like. Now, after the first question, within the lesson assignments, the questions are going to be about the material, but they're not really like solving equation kind of questions. They're questions that are more about definitions. Do you understand the main ideas? Like this one, you're dragging and dropping some definitions in. Let's see what the next one looks like. Here you're saying is it, you're classifying it, you're kind of using a definition here. So that's what these kinds of assignments are about, making sure you understand the material before you get to the harder problems. And again, let me know if you have any questions over the material at any point. I'm gonna go ahead and save. My math lab's pretty good about doing that automatically, but if ever your internet's cutting in and out, go ahead and save to be safe. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and click OK, and that's gonna take, well, it took me nowhere. I'm going to go back to the assignment tab here. And let's say I've done the 1.1 lesson. I did it all. I'm going to move on and do the 1.1 homework. Now, the homework assignments are usually longer than the lesson assignments. The problems are usually a little bit harder. They require multiple steps, whereas the lessons are just basic ideas. You can do the questions in any order that you would like. You can jump around within them. I'm going to pull up one here. Right, this one's multiple choice, so I am going to move to a different one. Multiple choice again. Let me jump down to number 5, see what that one is. Okay. All right, so here is one where they're asking you to solve an equation. And remember, if you don't remember how to do that, you'll get that in the lesson. The first couple of lessons are a lot of review, but it will pretty quickly move into newer material. I'm gonna, let me see what the answer is supposed to be on this one. -4 plus 2 is -2, 4. Okay, I'm gonna get this one wrong on purpose. And I typed in my answer, and it's x equals, but the way that this system for this particular textbook likes you to put that in is you just put in the number inside of those squiggly brackets that it had there for you. You don't put in the x equals. So I just put in 0. That is what I think it is, but I'm getting it wrong on purpose, remember. And I'm going to go and hit check answer. And it tells me that I'm wrong. And it gives me a little bit of information to kind of give me a hint. I hit OK, and it lets me try the exact same problem again. I'm going to get it wrong again on purpose. And notice when I click in there, it opened up some different features down here. Since our keyboard doesn't have math formatting built in, my MATLAB has it here. So if I wanted to do a fraction, I could have hit that. If I want to do a mixed number there, if I want to put in an exponent. So there's all kinds of different features there. All right, I'll check my answer in this one. Wrong again. But it lets me try again, exact same problem. I'm going to get it wrong again on purpose. All right, so at this point, it stops me and it gives me a red X. It tells me what the correct answer is and what I answered. And then I can either just move on and accept that I get this wrong, or I can hit similar question. I'm going to close this for a second because I want to show you what happens. When you get something wrong 3 times in a row, that's when it marks it wrong. And when I do the drop down arrow, I see that I have a red X here by that question. That means it's wrong and it's counting against me in my grade. Now, the way my MATLAB is set up is you can do the problems as many times as you want to get it correct, but it gives them to you in groups of 3. So that's why it stopped me and marked me wrong, because I already got it wrong 3 times. If I want to try again, that's where I have to hit similar question. And what it'll do is it'll give me the exact same type of problem, but it'll change the number slightly. Now, my MATLAB does this for a very specific reason. All of the research into how the brain learns shows that if somebody gets something wrong 3 times in a row, usually at that point they start guessing. So even if you happen to get it right at that point, if you got it right through a guess, it's not going to do anything to help you remember the material or remember how to do the problem. So that's why it kind of partitions it off in groups of 3. So if you get something wrong 3 times in a row, that's an indication that you need some sort of help. At that point, I recommend that you pull out the notes that you took and look through and try to find a similar problem that the videos did and see if you can model this problem off of that and see if that helps. If the notes don't help, and the notes are the very best way to work through the homework. But if you're still stuck, you can go up here to the question help. Now, not every single problem has the same question help features, but you can look through and see what they offer. Many of them will have a help me solve this, where it takes you through and you're still doing the problem, but it's telling you what to do step by step, so it's guiding you through. Now, if you do the question help and you go through it all, they still make you do the problem again completely on your own before they mark it right. Under question help, there's also a video link if you want to link straight to a video where it'll explain it. And it's actually a different video than the lesson. So sometimes watching both videos can be helpful because you hear different people explain things different ways. There's also a link to the textbook, so you can see a textbook example worked out that's really similar. There's also an Ask My Instructor tab. So if you're really stuck, click on that. And it will send me an email that shows me what you marked as the answer, what the answer should have been, and then there's a space for you to write a message. This type of email, the Ask My Instructor, is also helpful if my MATLAB is marking it wrong, but it looks right to you. Sometimes because the font's really small, you'll type in a decimal point, like a period, but you might have accidentally hit the comma, but the font's so small that you can't tell that's what you did, or maybe you put in an extra space bar that my MATLAB's counting wrong. So if you look at what my math lab says is the correct answer and you look at what you typed in, it looks the same to you, send me an Ask My Instructor email and I can look at it, and if you're correct, I can put points back in for you so you don't have to redo the problem. You can also print out the assignment if you know that you're going to be away from a computer but you want to have your homework with you. You can print out the assignment, work on it paper pencil, and then log back into my math lab and type your answers in. All right, now I'm going to get this one right finally. Let me see. Now I want to point out that this is not a mental math class, so even though it's on computer, do everything that you need to do on paper pencil. Some of the problems are easy, but most of them you'll need to be doing quite a bit of writing. So 6 minus 2x equals 6x minus 10x plus 14. I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm not teaching the lesson right now. I'm just showing you how to use my math lab. All right, so I got my answer and I will put it in. I will hit check answer, and now it tells me I got it correct. Now, I'm going to hit next question and it jumps me to the next question, but I'm going to go back up to this drop-down menu, and where it used to be a red X, it is now a green check. So it's no longer counting against me in my grade. It is now correct. Right? So again, you can do the problems as many times as you want. You can definitely get 100% on every assignment as long as you're willing to put in the time and get help if needed, but it does give you chances in groups of 3. All right, so I'm going to close that out. I will save it. All right, I'm going to go back to the main assignment list. One thing I do want to point out about the videos over in the lesson assignments is the videos are not actually made by me. It's something that the textbook author and the textbook group put together. That being said, I will make my own videos from time to time. I'm going to head back over real quick to the lesson plan tab. You'll see here that there's a column for things that are due Wednesday of that week, a column for things that are due Sunday of that week, and then a column that says videos from student questions. So if there's a problem that a lot of people are asking questions about, or that I see that a lot of people are getting wrong, I'll create a video for it that goes into more detail than the other video or the textbook might, or that might give some hints about it. Sometimes even doing something as silly as color coding what you're writing really helps a lot. So I'll make videos anytime hints or trouble comes up, and I'll link those here in the lesson plan for you. So it's a good idea to check this column. I would say 2-3 times a week to see if there are any new videos up that you want to watch. I would definitely watch them before you take the test as well. All right. All right. And like I said, quizzes, tests, they're all going to be up on my math lab. Tests will have 2 parts to them. You'll have my math lab part online, and then you'll have a paper pencil part as well that I'll have up posted for you that you can download, that you can do on notebook paper, or you can print out the actual document that I put up for you. And then what you'll do is you'll email it to me. If you have access to a scanner, you can scan it. Otherwise, you can take a photo and just email it to me, and I'll check everything by hand and then put that grade into my math lab. So you'll get more information about that later this week as I start to put up stuff for the first test. So if you have any questions about my math lab, any questions about anything else, feel free to let me know. All right, I think that's it. Bye.